Harley Lipman is a foreign affairs analyst, and Ruthie Bloom is a former advisor to the office of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Blaine Holt is joining us, a retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General and a Newsmax contributor. Thank you all for coming on. We do appreciate that. I'll start with General Holt if I can. Let's go back to Mike Carter's report about NATO allies saying that they're not going to help out the United States with the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. What does this do to President Trump? In this administration, he's obviously frustrated, seemingly so, from his interviews about NATO and the lack of assistance.
Yeah, so we're just getting into a worse place with this relationship. And I really do think the conversation's framed the wrong way, especially the way the Euros are taking this on. They think that this is just about get your butts down here to blockade Iran. That is simply an interim phase in a bigger operation to open the straits, keep them permanently opened, drop the tolling, and go to Lloyd's of London and say, no more of this nonsense, because the nonsense is coming out of Europe. It's not coming out of the Middle East. The United States has this in hand. And to add to that, they won't even write checks. They won't even, they think that they have the upper hand, and they think that they're blunting President Trump. All they're doing is setting themselves up for a complete and thorough review of why the United States has this relationship so tortured as it is with Europe.
Harley, I want to ask you this. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton phoned into MS Now yesterday and started theorizing about President Trump's mental state, especially regarding the war. Here's that.
There's something called domain of loss, which means when a leader feels that he's losing, he actually becomes more reckless. And I fear that with Trump. You know, he's found the joy of ordering our military to go do things that give him a lot of dopamine, I guess. And this is a call to the Congress, including the Republicans, to step up and do your constitutional duty. Rein in this president before he causes absolutely irreparable damage to our country, to our military standing, to our authority and leadership.
Are you familiar with this theory that she brought up, and do you think there's any merit to what she's saying?
Not at all. Do you know what I hear when you played her comments? Is a couple of things came to mind. One is she's actually completely wrong. President Trump at every opportunity stopped fighting. Before they went to war, he engaged in negotiations and tried to come up with some peaceful settlement. During the war, the moment that there was an opportunity to end it and have talks, he called for a ceasefire. This is contrary to her theory that he needs more dopamine, so he needs to enhance the military. The facts of President Trump's actions are contrary to his theory. And what I would further say is what I'm also hearing from Hillary Clinton is this dislike of Trump so much that they can't get their head around that he is doing something that every American president, including her husband, ignored and avoided, kicked the can down the road. And the can gets heavier and the road gets shorter. You have to be able to do something to stop Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. Because as we heard you say in your program, Marco Rubio said it's an apocalyptic regime, meaning they have no problem with the world being blown up. To them, MAD, mutual assured destruction, is not a bad idea. They go to heaven with 72 virgins. So we have to deal with them as an extremely dangerous threat. And this really speaks to our children and grandchildren.
I'm Sean Kreisman. For stories and content just like this, check out National Report weekdays 9 to noon, only on Newsmax.